Okay, kids, Ham and Cheese back here with you again today. And up on the bench today, we have the Fluke 8600A digital multimeter. This is a vintage piece of gear, comes out of the mid 70s, around 75, 76. And for its time and when it was built, this is an absolute first class piece of equipment. Doesn't do quite as much as some of today's multimeters do, but it does a lot, okay? You can do AC line voltage with it. You can measure milliamps, DC line voltage in milliamps. You can do resistive values. You can do capacitance values. You can do line voltages, all kinds of good stuff with it that way. It goes from 200 millivolt, ranges all the way out to 1200 volt. You can do it in steps of 2, 20 or 200. And you can even auto range it as well. You have two different sides you can use, just like you do on most of your modern stuff. The only difference is these use banana plugs versus your standard test lead plug-ins. And we can range out up to 2 amps through the 2 volt max on this side. This is all the milliamp stuff. All the way up to 1200 volt on the other side. Now, there were 2 versions of these created. And we'll talk about that here. This gives you a rundown of what the little bit of stuff is here. Nothing crazy. There's our DC voltages from 200 millivolt up to 1200. And we have that DC milliamp range as well. AC voltages, we can do 50 to 10 kilohertz. 200 millivolt up to 1200 volt range. Our AC milliamps, 50 hertz up to 10 kilohertz. And we can do it in steps up to 2000 milliamps. And then, of course, we can ohm out as well. 200, 2000, 2 million, so on and so forth. So we have the voltage measurements as well, and you can see we can go up to right around 100 picofarads with it. Again, it's not the top of the line, but for its time it was. And we have overvoltage protection on it as well. We can do current values, 2 amps up to, you can see there's a couple different voltages listed as well. And we can do resistance, which we're going to look at some resistors with it. Now, when you look at this, there were 2 versions. The line unit, which is the standard, and the battery unit, which this is not. The line is the one you want of these. If you see the battery unit, you can pick one up, but the line unit's the more stable of the 2 that are still around. You can put 7 watts max into it. You can switch the voltage inside the case. We'll show that here. You can do 115 or 230. That's more of your European stuff, changing different things around. And it has an 8 amp slow blow, which I'll show you there inside as well. And it even had an option available on some of these that we could make them capable of using a digital printer and printing out the things that we saw and measured as well. This little guy right here, this is a carry handle, but it also makes a great stand. That's how most people usually set these up, so they can see it at a little bit better angle. And when you look at the back of it, very simple design, simple plug, and only one screw that holds everything together, which we've already removed so that we can take it out of the case. So when we pop the case off and we set it up here, you can see here, very easy to work on should you need to do any type of work to it. It has a number of integrated circuits in it for the 70s. That's pretty top of the line stuff, so it's all solid state, no tubes. Couple of points where we can tune and calibrate. See some up here, and then we have several up on the top end as well. Right there, that is our 2 amp fuse. I know it's a little bit hard to see here, but that's our 2 amp fuse from inside, and it gets accessed from the outside, so very easily changed. I think this one's a 10 amp, I can't remember. And of course right here is that 8 amp slow blow right next to our voltage adjustment. And you can see here too, everything is very nicely put together and very easily labeled. So should you need to make any changes or anything like that, it's all there. All right, let's go ahead and stack it up against a couple of different meters and see how it performs. Okay, so here we have it all ready to go again, reassembled. And we're going to take a look at 2 resistors on the board today. The first being this guy right here, which is a 50K, And then we'll take a look at the guy right next to it, which is 100K. We already have it set up for ohms, and we have it set up for auto ranging, so we're going to kind of let it do its thing. Okay? When we go to power this on, it's going to go into a flash mode, and you're going to see the decimal points move on it as well. And that's just, it's basically going through its self-test and doing its thing. So let's go ahead and fire it up here. There you can see the various movement of the decimals, and now it's in the flash mode. And we can very easily close it out just like so. Alright, let's take a look at that 50K first. Very quickly, as you can see right there, if we're not touching other components on the board, comes up 50.16, not bad. Let's switch over to the 100K next. And very quickly comes back, 101. So, slightly off, could use a little bit of calibration, but not terrible. Alright, let's stack it up to a little bit newer meter and see what it does here. And for the new meter, we're going to use our Tenma, which you've seen before. And that's this guy right here. Let's go ahead and bring it up to the ohms. Bring our cables over. You can see we're in the open line right now, and very quickly zero it out. Okay, so we'll do the 50 first. And you can see there it takes a couple extra seconds, but it comes up to 49. Let's switch over to the 100 next. Takes a little bit longer, but it does come up about 99.9, just as it should. So as you can see, the Fluke itself is a much faster response rate, much faster unit. The Tenma's a little more accurate, which I expect being a newer unit. And we do know that this needs a little bit of calibration as well. So it is what it is. Now, let's talk a little bit about these again. Easily had, easily found. You can find them on eBay. They're still readily available on there, 45 or 50 bucks. You can get them at Hamfest. I've seen them on tables as little as $10. This particular unit came out of an estate we picked up some equipment from a couple years ago, and the whole thing was FREE free, the cheapest and easiest way to do it, just like me. But I would still pick one up even if I didn't have it, because like I said, as you can see, they're an absolute workhorse when it comes to doing measurements and different things like that. Not quite as advanced as the newest ones, definitely not anywhere near as advanced as the new bench units that are out there today, but it gets the job done for simple measurements, especially if you're trying to identify resistive values. Maybe you have a simple board that's gone bad or something like that. So, totally worth picking up, like I said. As you could see when we took it apart, very easily repairable. Something even you can work on as a beginner, and it would make an absolute great first test piece for multimeters if you don't want to spend 70 bucks on something like this guy right here. So there you have it, the Fluke 8600A. Hopefully you found it enjoyable. If you've been in this game a minute, maybe you found it as a nice piece of nostalgia. It takes you back to some of your early days of electronic shop or something like that. So there it is. All right, kids. Thanks for watching. 7-3.